For months, I had been trapped in a relentless cycle of pleading. Pleading for my wife's attention, for a hint of affection, for even the smallest fragment of her time. Every day felt like treading on a tightrope, waiting for her approval, craving her acknowledgement, yet never quite reaching it. No matter what I did, it was never sufficient. If I stayed late at work, she accused me of neglecting her. If I arrived home early, she claimed I lacked ambition. I tried everything. Cooking her favorite meals, surprising her with thoughtful gifts, taking her out, but she dismissed it all as if it meant nothing. Slowly, I stopped recognizing myself. The confident, self-assured man I once was had vanished. I was drained, exhausted, and desperate. Every disagreement ended with me apologizing, even when I wasn't at fault, just to keep the peace. I thought that was love, sacrificing myself for her happiness, but in reality, I had become nothing more than a shadow, existing only to cater to her moods. This morning, something inside me finally broke. She asked me to iron her clothes before work. Normally, I would have leapt to do it, hoping for a fleeting smile of approval. But this time I didn't move. I simply sat down, sipped my tea, and scrolled through my phone. For the first time in years, I ignored her demand. Her sharp voice cut through the silence. "Did you hear me?" I nodded, not a muscle betraying any reaction. Her eyes widened in disbelief. She wasn't prepared for this version of me. The man who no longer rushed to serve her every whim. She left the shirt crumpled on the bed and stormed into the bathroom, slamming the door behind her. I continued drinking my tea, unbothered. Later, she asked me to run an errand for her mother. Normally, I would have gone without hesitation to avoid conflict. But this time I replied evenly. "I'm busy today. You can handle it." The expression on her face was priceless, a mixture of confusion, anger, and oddly fear. It was the first time she realized I wasn't her servant. Throughout the day, she tested me with small tasks. Bring me water. Fix my charger. Call the plumber. And each time, my response was the same. A calm, controlled refusal. Not now. My denial was never loud or disrespectful. It was quiet, unwavering, and firm. That silence carried more weight than any argument I had ever made. By evening, the atmosphere in the house had shifted. She paced restlessly, glancing at me as though trying to figure out what had changed. Finally, she asked hesitantly, "What's wrong with you today?" For once I didn't beg, didn't justify myself. I met her gaze steadily. "I'm tired of being the only one who puts effort into this marriage," I said. Her mouth opened, likely to argue, but no words came out. She wasn't expecting me to stand my ground. She was used to me groveling for her attention, her forgiveness, her love. But today, I offered nothing. No explanations, no pleading, no desperate attempts to make her feel better. The silence between us thickened. She tried to break it, turning on the TV, fiddling with her phone, pretending to be indifferent. But her tension was obvious. She wasn't accustomed to being ignored. She wasn't accustomed to me prioritizing myself. When dinner time came, she asked if I would cook. I told her I had already eaten outside. Her expression dropped. For years, I had ensured she always had a hot meal waiting, but tonight I did nothing. She ended up preparing something herself, slamming pots and pans in a flurry. Yet I could sense the unease in her movements. That night, as we got into bed, she finally spoke in a quieter, uncertain tone. "You've been distant today. Are you upset with me?" I turned to her calmly. "I'm not upset. I'm done begging. I'm done feeling like I'm the only one trying." She stared at me as if she were looking at a stranger. She tried to justify herself, claiming she never asked me to plead, insisting I was overreacting. But I reminded her of every time she ignored my efforts, every time she took my kindness for granted, every moment she made me feel small. The truth was written all over her face. She knew I wasn't lying. For the first time, she had no control. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I simply spoke the truth and let the silence do the rest. And in that silence, she realized that if things didn't change, she might lose me. As she turned away, pretending to sleep, I lay awake, feeling strangely liberated. For the first time in years, I wasn't burdened by the need for her approval. I had reclaimed a part of myself, and it felt powerful. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Maybe she would change, maybe she wouldn't. But one thing was certain. I would never return to begging. Today she noticed. Tomorrow she would understand. The next morning, I left early without a word. I ignored her calls throughout the day, and when I returned, I calmly handed her an envelope. Inside were papers, my decision to separate. Her hands shook as she read them, her eyes wide with shock and fear. She tried to protest, to plead with me, but this time I remained silent. The man who once begged for her love was gone. I packed my things slowly while she watched, powerless to stop me. "You'll regret this," she whispered. I only smiled. "No. I've already regretted staying too long." As I walked out, a weight lifted from me. For the first time in years, I wasn't begging. I was free.